Hi, and welcome to week 8. This week's theme is to go local. And the idea behind it is just to really appreciate where you live, the community you're in, and all it has to offer. And the way that this relates to Prince's life is that, Prince was such a loyal Minnesotan. He was born in Minneapolis, and essentially all the key events of Prince's life, his wedding, his work, the places he recorded, most of them were essentially within like a 20-mile, 10-mile radius. So he really was a promoter of his home state. He remained tied to it throughout his life. He built, Paisley Park as his place to record and do his work, even though a lot of, stars of his stature, after 1984's Purple Rain, he could have chosen to decamp to any major cultural center. He could have gone to LA or New York City or London or Paris, but instead he chose to build Paisley Park in Minnesota, and that was really his home base throughout his life. Although he had homes in other places and sometimes lived in other places, he always came home to Paisley Park, and he did that also the last few years of his life. So because Prince lived in Minnesota and worked in Minnesota, other Minnesotans had the opportunity to work at the very highest levels of their profession and also stay in Minnesota. So recording engineers, costume designers, some of his managers, property managers, all sorts of people could live in Minnesota and work. And that was thanks to Prince that they had so many great opportunities right there at home. Prince was a huge promoter of local music. Up till the very end, he was going out to the Dakota Jazz Club in downtown Minneapolis, where he had his own table and would go and hear the artists who were visiting or the local artists who played there regularly. He would go to Bunkers, which is a bar and grill downtown where Dr. Mambo's Combo, a band that had played since 1987 on Sunday and Monday nights, would be playing, and Prince would go, and sometimes he would sit in. So he even had a local chef at the end of his life from a restaurant called People's Organic, and the chef was making Prince's food and bringing it to Paisley Park. So Prince supported all of the great local things about Minnesota. And what I want you to do this week is really fully appreciate where you live, love where you live. Maybe go out, if you can, hear some music, or go to an independent bookstore or a local boutique or a small family-owned restaurant. If you live in a beautiful place where you can hike, go out hiking, appreciate, the landscape, the environment, the artists, the sports teams. If you have local sports teams, if you have a local baseball or softball team, maybe go to a game. Really appreciate where you are, all it has to offer, all that you can get from it to nurture yourself, and some of the things you can do to give back, in terms of supporting a lot of these local efforts, because everything we do really is local and rooted very much where we live. Even though we're connected to the wider world, I think some of our most meaningful experiences come from right where we sit. So go out, do a lot of fun local things this week, and go now and click on another one of the icons and see where it will take you. Enjoy going local this week.